also going to be having our on-ground discussions. And this time around, the on-ground, looking at youth skilling in crafts, or what you could call trying to look at those who are actually dealing in arts and crafts, or the artisans in that space. Of course, there's a lot of talent within Uganda's arts industry that goes beyond not only in, for example, those who actually come up with different innovations, especially rotating around clothes. Those are clothes that most of the tourists are really interested in buying, by the way. And then also those who actually deal in handcrafts that are, for example, let's say simple home accessories and everything. And in this particular on-ground, we have Akelo Pamela, who is an artisan at the Nature Store. And then we have Abima Stephen, a General Secretary of the association that brings together the artisans and those who are actually into the crafts industry in the country. Let's have more.
Very good innovations. I encourage fellow youth, because I'm also under the youth, that instead of being loitering around and having nothing to do, I encourage them to invent themselves into craft industry. It's very profitable. Before joining or starting this type of job, we were jobless. We didn't have anything to do, but now we are paying school fees. We are living good, I would say, better life. Yeah, it's profitable. We are earning some good money. Yes. As any other businesses, we were, since I told you we started in 2018, we had a serious challenges, mostly during lockdown, because of transportations. You remember, we make this thing from Lira, and so our biggest market is here in Kampala so far, although we are also trying to set up our other up-country outlets. So our challenges is the raw material is very expensive. Since we are dealing in this type of products, we are using a tree called teak. Teak is a planted tree by some farmers in northern Uganda, mostly in Lira, Lango sub-region. So it takes between 15 to 20 years. So you can see how patient someone has to wait to get their money back. So it's a bit challenging. It's disappearing. I would encourage government to support people who are doing tree planting. And then another challenge is our machine sometimes breaks down because we use manual and machine. Being a very hard wood, so there's always challenges of the machine breakdown. And obviously markets. You know, Uganda, we are not well versed with craft. A lot of people love, you know, shiny things, so we don't have good market at the moment. And I encourage people to support local SMEs, you know. That is how the country develops. Yeah, so the market is still a challenge. Yeah, and there, because if you tell someone a plate like this, we sell at 25,000, it's 26 centimeter, someone will be like, this is too much expensive. Why should I spend 25,000 in this? You get it? So
craft industry, for sure, is something which is very good. And nothing I can say, but what I know, we benefit. Since I'm just starting, but the income is somehow, I can't starve like others, like the way they are starving. But for crafty, you're the one making, and you're the one knowing the price to sell, whether it's expensive, whether it's not what expensive. But it's sometimes it's according to the place where you're selling from. Yeah.
These are workers who are self-employed. They are what we call own account workers. They make crafts using local materials and they sell them in order to earn income, and this income is used for their livelihood. And this organization has over 500 members, and they have joined Amalgamated Transport and General Workers Union because our responsibility is to fight for the rights of the workers. And informal sector workers are workers who are not catered for by any other organization. The government takes care of everybody, but for these people in particular who are doing arts and crafts, they are taking care of themselves. They only do the market once in a week, and we have the market near Gaddafi Mosque, once on Fridays. So we have organized this exhibition for them so that they can be able to sell continuously for 8 days. Because by selling once in a week, you cannot make money. But when you sell continuously for 8 days, you can be able to make money, which can help you to do other things better. So the union comes to support them. We are the main sponsors of this exhibition because hiring this ground is very expensive for these people. These are small income earners. So the union has paid for the ground so that they can be able to exhibit their products and they be able to raise some money. And then too, this exhibition has also attracted other exhibitors from other places. Here we have the Kenyans, we have the Tanzanians, we have the Rwandese, we also have people from Senegal, and many others who have not yet registered with us, they're also here.
All right, now there you have it with our own ground about youth skilling in crafts. Besides that, I did mention that we're going to be reviewing, of course, the story, a story that will definitely be playing here, or I'll also looking back at some of the stories that we've had on the Bulletin of Business today. We're joined now by Rona Nahabwe, who takes us through what she has, and of course, what you should be able to at least know about the world of business and the different trends. Good morning, Rona, and many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Sonko, and good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Rona.
Yeah, so today it's sort of a follow-up. I'm working on a story I saw where government is proposing to amend the Tax Procedures Act of 2014, where it has hefty penalties. I call them hefty because I believe they're really hefty. About 10 years in jail and 30 million fine for anyone who alters the digital stamps. The digital tax stamps. You must know them. Those that small sort of sticker that is on a product, especially if you buy from, yes, especially when you buy from a supermarket. Now we all know that the digital stamps were introduced, I think, in the financial year of 2019-20, meant to report any underreporting or misclassification of goods and brands. Of course, in a way, this is meant to curb counterfeits, increase the tax base, and have standards. Quality standards of goods in a supermarket, but isn't this penalty so hefty for goods?
So Rona, if I may ask, because now I'm thinking, a digital stamps comes attached to the product, but not all products have digital stamps.
They actually have some they started with.
Yes.
A few of them.
A few.
But the most essential, I believe, there is sugar, sugar, water, especially. Most of the beverages were among those that were signed.
Alcohol,
even some spices.
Alcohol, because you see, you have had issues of the excise duty being reduced for alcohol. Alcohol is the biggest, I think, manufactured.
Even the manufacturers of alcohol made some huge revenues even during COVID.
They always make profits, yes.
But then, okay, there may be, in a way, it is like I said, to increase the tax base and curb any underreporting or misclassification of brands or goods. But since they introduced the digital stamps, I would like to look at it from this perspective. Where does it leave the SMEs? Because these guys would love to supply to supermarkets.
Exactly, yes.
And to supply to a supermarket, you have to have the Q mark. They call it a Q mark, on a product. So why are they? Because when I interacted, from the last I interacted with SMEs about IFRIS, this procedure is, for lack of a better word, so difficult to use. They have failed to adapt to it.
Yeah, because this is digital. We're trying digital. We're talking IT.
True.
It is not too difficult. The reason behind its difficult is the complicated kind of scenarios in there. Because you see, with as Rona is saying, why the traders have no problem with the digital issue. There are some complications because you have to fill in product per product. So it has to be seen by the revenue collectors. Because back in the time, you get to realize, like Rona said, it goes back to trying to increase the tax base. Because most of the supermarkets in the country have products on shelves that are coming in from suppliers that have no standard marks. You know, for example, Andrew, you have your product. Andrew, maybe you're a talented, maybe you've got hands-on skills. You can easily bake a cake. You bake over 30 cakes and you know how to package.
Yes.
And because Sonko is a friend of yours and he has a supermarket somewhere,
you go and supply
to Sonko. So every time the Uganda Revenue Authority comes in for, you know, there's always that audit. They see the business is actually not making sales. But then the shelves are not, you know, the shelves are emptying. Well, you know, there are times when you look at a business and you see the business is making money really. But according to your monthly audit, the monthly statements is showing
less money coming in.
Yes. So the question is, are they having products they are selling that are not on display? So that is where the IFRIS comes in, and of course these marks come in. Now Ugandans are really, really schemy people if you're to look at that. I think now they came up with alternatives of creating their own standard marks. I think this is where Uganda Revenue Authority has come to realize that we enrolled this in 2021 and we have strictly been going to different retailers to make sure that this is worked upon. But then it seems Ugandans are not complying.
I think they're a little bit skeptical, for the most part, skeptical about it. And I think the adaptation levels of Ugandans to fintech, digitalization, and anything that has to do with IT, I think it is really slow. Maybe for reasons that could be explained, but I think this penalty is targeting the big people that are underreporting, and big brands.
Big brands we see in town.
Yeah.
That always shun away from paying these taxes.
And they're the most evaders of taxes. Yet
but then where does that leave UNBS? If a product has UNBS and it has a Q mark, it has come in like the product is verified twice by the Uganda National Bureau of Standards and URA. But then if they are saying that people are still underreporting, they are still classifying goods and brands with all these two entities.
At times you'll start fearing the country. And how Ugandans go on. But I think the issue to do with increasing our tax base is something that is important. Paying the taxes is very important. But though my kind of worry again is, I've always had this worry or this concern that it won't even be a worry, it is a concern. When you look at the annual performance of the Uganda Revenue Authority, it always exceeds their target. So that means they collect money and they even exceed the target they have. Sometimes it may be from the domestic taxes or otherwise. But then
domestic and even foreign, because the foreign guys pay a lot of money.
Pay a lot of money. Now, when it comes to financing of the budget, you get to hear questions like, our treasury basket is empty and everything. Then you ask yourself, what happens at the tower? The tower is reporting we are making some good, we have collected a lot of money. Where does the money go to? Again,
transparency.
Maybe the issue to do with transparency. That would be the bigger issue.
They talk about that all the time.
Let me give you a scenario, maybe a case, an example that could relate with what we just said. I was interacting with a big author here in Uganda, I won't mention his name. And from what I knew, I was like, maybe for the oil and gas, these guys have been as transparent as possible. Everything, every development they announce. But then she was like, Rona, you're so wrong. You are not there on those meetings. You are not never in that boardroom. There is something beyond what you see.
Sure.
There are big meetings that are held.
The inside story.
Yes.
The inside information.
And I think as journalists, I would like to employ you to know more. To know more about what is
the untold story about anything. You know, there is always that side of any investigation.
The behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
Well, we don't wish to know a lot since they decide to even hide. But besides that, for the Ugandan business community, paying taxes is mandatory for anyone, and it's a priority. So before you start up any business, you really need to have your team, by the way. Lately, URA is going out there to at least try to help Ugandans on registering with their team so that you can easily have a personal team, whether for a business or you as a Ugandan, because you have to stand as a taxpayer. We have to pay these taxes because we all hear of taxpayers' money. So that means me, I'm a taxpayer, you are a taxpayer. So we have to always be able to pay these taxes and then try to see how the Revenue Authority works upon, because every other year, my issue is always, every other year you are saying we have to increase the tax base, but we never hear of reports now our tax base has increased. Rather, we shall hear, okay, we have exceeded our target, then after exceeding the target,
so you're
but we still have something here that we need to increase on. So anyway, besides that, that is my own take and my final remark on the matter, and also reminding Ugandans to continue paying the taxes to the revenue.
Well, 49 minutes past 9, and of course still driving your business in here, and of course the topic of discussion we've been having in here for our story tonight with Rona Nahabwe in here regarding those that invent the digital stamp. Rona, your last remarks regarding that?
Well, my remarks would be to employ each one of you watching right now to wait upon this report as I'm going to bring it to you in Business Today, and please be sure to watch that time.
Well, rightly put out there for any of all the viewers right there. Catch the story tonight, 9 p.m. That is on our Business Today news bulletin. Definitely now we come to the end of the show, SMB, and of course very grateful from where we started from, all the way from the news recap. As definitely, just in case you missed out yesterday's tonight bulletin, you can kickstart off your day with getting to understand what is that business report happening, what happened, and you can use that for efficient decision making. And a great thanks to the entire production team, and of course making sure that this whole content is being delivered effectively as you've been able to view it quite very efficient. And of course don't forget channel 394 on GoTV, channel 372 DSTV, and on our social media handles at Smart24TV, that's on Twitter, Smart24TV official Facebook, and of course Smart24TV Live, that's on YouTube, as you will be able to get us at whatever part of the country you will be at as we deliver to you both local and international business updates. Well, coming up is Financial Markets with Anthony Sevale. For any person that is interested to understand how the financial market industry works, definitely that will be the appropriate program for you to check it out. But of course, above all, keep tuned to Smart24 TV for more informative programming, and of course, which is very key when it comes to your well-being as a person, as an organization, and as a country. Of course, together we build this economy. Till tomorrow, a very good morning.